Hello, today we are going to work on our second character, getting ready for our composite that is to come. This time we're working on the girl, and I've got her canvas pulled in. In the book, her name is Laura, and she is our main character. And we've got that part done again. First thing I'm going to do on Laura here is to work on the wrinkles in her dress. I would like them to show up a little more, maybe add a bit more. We're going to do that non-destructively by creating a new layer. We're going to clip it on, even though we're not really working too close to the edges, so it should all stay on anyways. And we're going to go to Edit, Fill, use this drop down box, and if it's not already selected, select 50% gray and click OK. And you're going to get this gray overlay, and we're going to set that to overlay. We're going to paint on this with our dodge and burn tools. I'm starting with the burn tool. You can also do 2 layers and have your highlights and your shadows separate. Sometimes I do that. It just depends on how much detail I'm working with. So like I said, I'm going to just go in and emphasize some of the shadows I already see here so that they show up a little bit more. And I'm working on a fairly low, mid-tones at 9%. I don't have my tablet currently set up to this computer. And I work a long ways away from my screen, and I don't have a extension cord for I'm not wireless on my tablet, so I tend to get lazy and I'm working with the mouse, which another photographer friend of mine once called the potato, but he teases me and says it gives you about as much control as a potato gives you. Bring this down a little lower. And I'm just kind of hitting places where there's already shadows. I think that's a pretty good start. Now, as I said, let's see, we can label this shadows. We can create a clipping mask on this one and label it highlights. And do the same thing. Edit, fill, 50% gray, switches to overlay. Oops. and hold that down and we'll get our dodge tool. Now we're going to go in, we're going to accentuate these highlights that are already here. I'm going to add a little highlight in places where there aren't really any highlights, as it'll make the wrinkles stand out more. Oops, got a little over my burn area. I think I'm going to drop my highlights under my and let's see where we are at. Pop some highlights in through here a little bit too. Through the fur down here. It's just kind of dingy looking, I think. Let's see how much detail that adds to her dress if we go from the before to after. Nice. Another area. I won't really work with much of the lighting here on her face and stuff yet until I get her into the main image with everyone else. And then I tend to play more with like the more detailed light. We're just doing very generic type hit and miss stuff right now. I'm creating a new layer, creating clipping mask, and I just want to accentuate the catch lights. They're really dim. We're gonna blow her up way bigger than she is, so she's gonna pixelate a little bit. Oops, I forgot that I had switched this to 50% gray. When you're doing your shadows and highlights and you're dodging and burn on this 50% gray, if you have a brush loaded with 50% gray and you get a little crazy, you can go in and paint back in 50% gray on these layers, and it works like an eraser. So, because you cannot erase, you'll have big holes. If I set my settings correctly, wouldn't it? I just blurred that a little bit, and I'm gonna set it to probably overlay mode. Just pop that highlight a little bit. And as I said, I'll probably do a little more contrast to the face, but I'll wait till I do all the images together. And then the last thing I want to do on her, so she's going to be fairly quick, no clipping mask, a new layer, and I want to add some hair, maybe blowing off of this side right here, and possibly some across the face. And I hate painting hair. It's one of my least favorite things to do. I know how to paint it strand by strand. It takes me forever because I'm so picky and I just don't want to do it. So I use these brushes. These are brushes that you can get on DeviantArt. They are unrestricted, so commercial use is okay, and they are done by Frozen Starro Stocks. Frozen Stocks? Yeah, Frozen Stocks. Her art account is Frozen Starro. I will link to both her accounts down below, and link to the brushes. If you use her brushes, please check out her art account, check out her stocks, give her lots of love, faves, and comments, and to show your appreciation for the things she has provided us without making us pay for it. So she's a great gal. She's actually mentored me in a few projects. So I'm going to grab some of this color here and just see what happens. I haven't even practiced working on this chick yet, so you're literally just looking over my shoulder right now with stuff I have not even done yet. Erase some of this back. Yeah, that should be low enough. And soft brush. That looks pretty good. Let's see if I want to use some more. Remember to put it back on your paintbrush or you'll be changing your... I really like this strand here. I'll have to flip it. I like possibly these for the end. Let's try this one. And I am just going to pop it here. Flip horizontal. Erase out our weird little line here. Possibly, let's see what happens when we play with our overlay modes here. We might keep it where it was, but I do see where that weird coloring is coming from though when I have it in this mode. Just get rid of some of this here. Obviously we're not going to leave it there. I think I'm going to end up just leaving it. Darker color is not bad, but probably just keep it normal where it was. Maybe fade the fill and opacity just a titch. Oops, sorry. Disappeared. And I'm going to pull her back a little bit. Yeah, I really like the way she's looking here now. And then I might do something to pull possibly a few darker strands. I've got her hair really darkening up here. Maybe something like this on those ends. Create a new layer. And again, I accidentally put that on my eraser. I do that all the time, so bear with me. I think I said this one. Got our new layer on. And I'll wait to flip it. I may or may not flip this around. Probably will, but we'll see. Just want this to blend in a little bit with the 3D hair that's there to kind of give some little bit of depth and color. So some of the 3D stuff is showing through, some of this brushed is showing through. Rid of the really definite line. I'm gonna change this again. What was that, like linear? That'll work. Just so I can see where these hard edges are a little better. We'll soften them up so they blend in. There, I like that hair much better now. Let me group it together and you can kind of see it. Control G will put this into a group and we can call that group hair. And now we can turn the whole group off and on at once. And you can see the change in her hair here. And then I think I'm going to play with, I don't know if I'll keep it, but having a strand here come across, maybe blowing across her face this way a little bit. So let's see what we have in here that's something a little, maybe this one, it's a little straight. Maybe this one. Not enough blowing there. This might be too much, but we'll give it a try. It's already going the way we want it to go. Oh, why did that? It's very light, so maybe we will do another one. So Control J, repeat that, and Control E, flatten it down, and then we will go in with our eraser tool and turn it up my opacity and flow this time, so it takes out most, if not all of it. We want all of this pretty much gone through here. I'm going to lower it down again. I'm going to put this back, but just out of curiosity, I'm kind of wondering, you know, what would it look like if I took some pieces across the bangs? So I'm just using this to play with. Let's put that back where it was. I'm going to change it to something darker so I can find my edges. Just be sure they're gone. I know I have to go over it more times if I don't turn that all the way up to 100. But I also like that it keeps my edges soft. Fades them in, so. Okay. Send that back to normal. I think maybe let the face show through just a tiny bit. There. Yeah. So here it's the difference with our hair before and after. So I added a lot more detail. And we can group these together. I do not know why my grays are going in when I group those. Oh, because I missed my bottom. Oh, here we go. Make sure you get all your layers, because these are clipped to this layer. It was not keeping my transparency. I can actually converge those two. You can see our change in the dress and our change in the hair. Apparently I messed up my groupings. Apologies. We'll just put them back. There we go. So there's our before girl and our after. Sorry about all the crazy mistakes with my groups and stuff, and I'm gonna do details on her once she's in the whole scene, where we will work on her staff here and make a lot more magical light coming from there. So we might go through and work some more on the highlights and stuff then. But this gets her ready to put into the scene and be worked on there. So join me next time. I don't think there's a lot of work to do on the dragon. I have a little eye thing I need to do, but I don't think we need to show that in the screen. So probably next time I come back, we will be putting the full composite together. Thanks for joining me. Bye.